You've reached Samaritans. We'll be with you as soon as we possibly can. Please stay on the line. We're here to offer you emotional support, whatever you're going through. There's a bit of a wait at the moment. A volunteer will be with you shortly. Whatever's troubling you, you can talk to us. Our volunteers are here to listen. We won't tell you what to do. We know you've been waiting around 7 minutes. Our calls are answered by volunteers. We do our very best to answer each call as soon as we can, but sometimes there is a wait to get through. As soon as a volunteer comes off the phone, you will be put through, so please stay on the line. We won't judge you or tell you what to do. We'll just listen. We know you've been waiting around 10 minutes, and we promise to get you through to a volunteer as soon as someone is available. We're putting you through to a volunteer now.
Samaritans, can I help you?
Hello, my name is Howie.
Sorry, could you speak up for me? I can't quite hear you.
My name is Howie.
Hello, Howie. My name is Zoe.
Hi, Zoe.
Hi. It's difficult to know where to start sometimes, isn't it?
Yes, I don't know what to think about being ordered by the law to have a guardian.
You're breaking up a little bit. I can't quite hear what you're saying.
I have been ordered.
I'm sorry, I still can't hear you.
I have been ordered by the government to have a guardian.
You've been what, sorry? Howie, would you like to tell me that again? You just said. I couldn't catch it.
Can you hear me?
Can I what, sorry?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. That's much better. Thank you.
The government says I have to have a guardian.
Have to have a guardian?
Yes.
Can you tell me a bit about that?
Because I'm disabled.
You're disabled.
I'm not allowed to instruct a lawyer.
Right.
So when the government abducts my children and I have to stop the government sending the children to a country where they have no family and will be then left homeless, I have to have a guardian to instruct the lawyer to stop this.
Do you want a guardian?
No, I don't want any guardian whatsoever. I want, if I go into a courtroom and say to the judge, you, judge, are a very, very, very stupid person for sending a 9-year-old child to a country where they have no family, the judge will send me to prison for having contempt of court because you are not allowed to berate an honorable, respectable High Court judge in such a way. So, in order to protect me from being sent to prison, it's better that the lawyers say I don't have mental capacity. But as a result, their children will be sent to a foreign country where they'll be left homeless and abused.
How does this make you feel?
Yes, that's why I'm phoning up the Samaritans so that I can pardon. The reason that I am phoning up the Samaritans at this point in time is to get an answer, to find out how I feel. Because I do not have any words to describe this feeling.
How does that... Can you describe what you think you're feeling? Are you able to do that? It's hard to put a name to feelings sometimes, isn't it?
I try. I wrote something down. It's just a few sentences. The requirement that an autistic individual be subjected to guardianship on the grounds of failing a mental capacity examination is legally and ethically flawed. The mental capacity framework must be applied with recognition of the Equality Act, which requires reasonable adjustments to enable disabled people to participate directly in legal proceedings. Substituting a guardian in place of such adjustments removes the individual's rights to instruct legal counsel, denies them legal personality, and exposes them to further risk of harm through decisions made by third parties who may not act in their best interests. In this case, the state's approach substituted protection with disempowerment. The proper course would have been to provide communication support and adjustments to ensure the individual's direct access to justice rather than to impose guardianship.
It sounds like you've really looked into your situation and what's going on.
So, my child was wrongly deported 14 years ago. And
the child was wrongly deported?
They were sent to somebody else's country. The child's family live in the UK. We're British people. We're not foreigners. So 6 years after being deported, the child was running away from the person that the government put the child with.
How does that make you feel? Do you still have any contact with the child?
Yes, I'm still trying to explain my situation. Then, I can't find the words to describe it, but I would try. It's not that on one particular day in 2011, a child was wrongly deported from their own land. It's bigger than that.
Can you tell me why she was it your daughter?
Yes.
Got that right? Yeah, your daughter. Why was you thought she was wrongly deported?
Because I don't legally exist. That's why. Because I couldn't tell the judge not to do that. I was denied that right. People might say, oh, there was a violent criminal in a foreign country who sexually abused your child in 2000 and 16. But I say that the people that could have protected the child from getting into the clutches of that particular individual is my own government. They are the people responsible for the sexual abuse, rather than a foreigner in a foreign country.
Yeah.
But I need to stretch this conversation in a direction different from the one that you're focused on at the moment.
Okay.
It means that whenever anything happens to me, for example, if I'm prosecuted by the council for not paying council tax because I haven't got the mental capacity to pay council tax, if I'm prosecuted by the police for losing my disability pass on the underground and being found on public transport without a ticket, any incident like that, I have no way of defending myself in a court of law.
How does that make you feel?
The government are an exclusive club of wonderful, excellent gentlemen who make wonderful laws to their own benefit. However, at the same time, they marginalize and turn disabled people into criminals. I'm only a criminal because I'm denied access to justice to defend me.
What would you like to happen that could change your situation, do you think?
I'm being prosecuted at the moment.
You're being prosecuted at the moment?
Yeah, I'm always being prosecuted because I'm disabled. And therefore, I can't do things properly. And therefore, the police are always picking on me.
How does that affect your day-to-day life?
I have children to look after. And I am struggling so hard to look after the children. Why then should I have the additional burden of having to defend myself against criminal prosecution on top of struggling to look after children? People who are not disabled aren't given this additional burden. Then why should I be given that? Why should I be given this wonderful extra gift of having to neglect my children because I'm trying to defend myself from being prosecuted?
It sounds a lot to deal with.
Yeah, but I can't get this message across to my GP. My GPs don't understand a damn thing. They don't care. Why? Because in order to be a GP, you have to be a wonderful, exclusive person. A wonderful, exclusive person who is not disabled and who is not going to hang around with a disabled fool who is going to drag them down. So they live in a bubble. They live in a perfect world, separated from the disgraceful disabled people who would otherwise drag them down. So they're a bunch of snobs, all GPs, by the fact that they've managed to get to university and got to get a university degree, are naturally snobs who wouldn't have anything to do with the disabled people and therefore wouldn't understand anything about the lives of disabled people.
Would you like to talk about your disability and how it affects you?
Yes, I'm a criminal. I'm an active, ongoing criminal.
Why do you say that?
Because I'm being prosecuted and I can't defend myself, and I'll end up with an even longer criminal record.
Do you have any family that supports you?
Yes, I do. My family give me food and they wash my clothes.
What about emotional support?
What does that mean?
Well, it's a more supportive thing. It's that they're there for you. You've got people that are there for you to support you, and you need to talk about things that affect you.
My mother says I'm not allowed to speak because if I try and speak, it will give her a heart attack and she will die.
Why did you say that?
Because that's what she said to me. That's why I said that. I said that to you because you asked me that question.
How's this affecting you emotionally? All of this. I mean, does it affect your mood?
I tell you how it affects me. Because I have to have a guardian in order to defend me from being abused. And to remove my criminal record so that I can get a job. Because I can't get a job because I've got a criminal record.
That must be something very difficult to deal with.
Yeah, very difficult. Because in order to get rid of your criminal record, you have to have a lawyer. And you can't have a lawyer if you're disabled. You're banned by law for having a lawyer.
You sound very frustrated. Does this affect your day-to-day life?
No, I'm just trying to get something into perspective for you, which I'm really struggling to do.
You're doing what, sorry? I couldn't quite catch that.
I am trying to build a perspective for you.
Okay.
But I'm not getting it across yet. Just give me a moment. I might get there. Hold on.
That's okay. You take your time. It's okay. I'm here.
I get into more trouble with the police than somebody who is not disabled because I am disabled. I have more need, therefore, to a lawyer than a person who is not disabled. Yet I'm denied access to any kind of legal help. And it's not just the fact that the law denies me access to legal help, but if I do try to instruct a lawyer, they will say that my arguments are not legal arguments, so the lawyers won't even understand me.
Yeah. That must be really frustrating for you.
Okay, so it was 2011, 14 years ago, that I was told by the judge that I have to have a guardian. What a non-disabled person would be doing with their children is having fun with their children and having a family with their children. But for me, I am not...
Sorry, you're muffled again. I can't quite hear what you're saying.
Yeah, it's because I can't hold this phone properly, I think. Right. So instead of having a normal family life with a child, growing up as a family, instead, let me try to describe this. I'm spending all of my time trying to find a guardian, which I can't find. And when I find a guardian, it doesn't work because the support structure for the guardian doesn't exist. I had a guardian for 3 years, but I didn't have the capacity to get the paperwork from the Court of Protection so they could legally act in my name. Moreover, they didn't want to be my guardian. Moreover, I couldn't find any training for them to train them to be a guardian.
Yeah.
So I just want to point out.
I'm sorry, you're muffled again. I can't hear you.
Oh, I don't know what to do about it. Let me see if I can take the phone out of the case. thrown the case away. Is it any better now?
Yes, that's perfect. Thank you.
Why is the case then got the holes in the wrong place?
Oh, you've gone muffled again.
Is it any? How is it now?
That's better. Thank you.
If it goes muffled again, let me know. There's no case. I just need to know what's causing the problem. Going back to this guardianship issue, we have a bunch of people in Parliament, and they have somebody who sits there and writes the law. I don't know who they are. At the bottom of the piece of legislation, do they put the names of the people who actually wrote the legislation? They don't. There's not even the name of the person who wrote the law at the bottom. Like if you buy a book, you know who wrote it. You know the publishing house. You can contact the publishing house and ask who edited the writer's text, so you can find out more information about that. The problem with legislation, it doesn't give the names of the people who wrote it. So when you don't understand it, you can't go to the individual who wrote that particular legislation to find out what was going on in their mind. Do you realize what an incredible burden you've put upon disabled people by making them to have a guardian? If you think of the word guardian, it sounds like the guardian is looking after the patient, but it's completely the opposite. It's the patient who has to look after the guardian. Do you see that? Can you see that a disabled person has the additional burden of having to look after a guardian that a non-disabled person doesn't?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
But do you not see all the incredible burdens that the government puts upon disabled people? It orders them to find a guardian that cannot be found. And if the guardian is found, they cannot be trained because the training can't be found. In the meantime, they are failing to look after their child because they have all this additional burden of having to find and train and look after a guardian.
You obviously care a lot about your children. Would you like to talk about your children?
No, I don't want to talk about my children because they've been sexually abused.
And how does that make you feel?
Well, they're just rubbish, aren't they? They're just rubbish. They're not proper children anymore. A decent child wouldn't go and get themselves sexually abused. So now I don't even have proper children. I have sexually abused children, which I don't want. I do not want. I want the government who wrote the laws to have the sexually abused children, and me, I want to have the non-sexually abused children. I want non-sexually abused children. I want non-sexually abused children. I want non-sexually abused children. Does that answer your question? Hello?
I'm sorry, I'm still here.
Did I answer your question correctly?
Yes, but tell me more if you can. I'd like to know more.
Okay, I'm going to try. The government's children are not sexually abused because the people in government, they are in, I'll try and put it right, they're on one island, and that island is the island of the people whose lives are absolutely perfect, and they write the laws, and they write the laws from their perspective. It is their perspective that creates the laws. And on my island, I have to receive laws written by people who don't want to know me, who know nothing about me.
Yeah.
And those laws are not appropriate.
It sounds like you've got an awful lot going on in all different kinds of directions.
No, I haven't. It's very simple. I put it down in the most simple way.
Okay.
I am disabled. Therefore, I am a vermin. Whether you agree with it or not, it's irrelevant. I am a vermin. Because they wouldn't have nothing to do with me.
That's a very interesting way of putting your situation.
Yes, I'm refuse. Okay? So the problem is they're not going to do anything good for me because it will cost them resources. And they want to keep the resources for themselves, their friends and family. Right. I'm just trying to put it in perspective. They don't want to have anything to do with me because I would be an embarrassment to them.
Can I ask you, do you ever get a really low mood about all this, and how does it really go very low that you don't want to be here?
Do you mean wanting to be killed?
No, I mean, I'm talking about suicide.
Yes, exactly, wanting to be killed, whether by yourself or by somebody else.
That's a very interesting way of putting it.
Yes, I've been trying to do that for over 10 years.
Trying to do what?
Be killed.
So you are suicidal?
Yes, I have. In 2014, I got my letter from the psychiatrist stating that I did not have a curable psychiatric disease that make me want to kill myself that I could be cured of, like schizophrenia or depression.
And how do you feel about that? Do you agree with that?
Do I agree with what?
Well, with what the psychiatrist said to you.
I'm not a doctor, but it's good because it means I could be killed by like taking a pill that's given to me by the government.
Have you ever tried to take your life before?
I do it a lot. I do it all the time. Like, I'm registered with a certain euthanasia clinic, but they delete my file every 9 months, so I have to keep finding my medical file back again. And most recently, I lodged a complaint. I said I became your client 10 years ago in 2015. And I'm said I was lodging my complaint because they're not pushing my case forward. They've never said whether they will approve or disapprove my euthanasia. And so they eventually reviewed my file and told me that I'm short of psychiatric papers. So I sent them the psychiatric review from 2014. I said, is this what you're talking about? Is this what you haven't received?
Why do you want to be euthanized?
Because they're only going to euthanize me if they think it's proper and right.
So do you feel that people in power are going to end your life for you? Or do you feel that you would like to do it yourself?
I'm not going to do it. How can I kill myself? That's not an easy thing.
Why do you say that?
Well, apparently if you have schizophrenia or depression, you can kill yourself because that's what the diseases make you do to yourself. Quite often, people who drink alcohol and take antidepressive medication, that combination of chemicals makes it much easier for people to kill themselves.
Is it that you don't want to be here anymore, or is it you just want to get away from everything that's going on in your life?
Yeah, both. Both, yeah.
When was the last time you felt that you really didn't want to be here?
Well, right now. Well, not right now, because right now I'm trying to speak to the Samaritans about the additional burden placed upon me of having to have a guardian to look after, rather than look after my own children.
Have you made any plans to take your life?
I told you I've been making plans with euthanasia organizations.
I mean, apart from that, now, is that something you would do? Taking away the euthanasia part of it? Is it something?
Well, how? I don't know how. How can I kill myself unless I get approval from the government?
Okay.
You know?
Why is it you called today? Is there any?
Yeah. I called today because I was on ChatGPT.
Okay.
And I said to ChatGPT, I was saying that I have a guardian and I have to control their mind through ESP. And
Okay.
I said to them, is a disabled person, more or less likely to have ESP to control the mind of their guardian? And ChatGPT was saying, well, ESP doesn't exist. Okay, well, okay, fine. But let's look at the word sensory. Is a person with autism more likely to have a form of sensing or less form of sensing? I didn't understand. So I said, okay, let's take a person in a coma. And so it finally agreed that a person in a coma was less able to sense the mind and influence another person. So the ChatGPT came up with a singular sentence. And it said to me, oh God, I wrote it down. The law is flawed because it forces autistic people to depend on guardians that they cannot easily influence to act in their best interest. And that's what it says. The law is flawed because it forces disabled people to depend on guardians that they cannot easily influence to act in their best interest.
And what does that do to you?
Well, I phoned up the Samaritans because I can't understand. It's just, I don't know what to do about this. That I'm being bullied.
You're being bullied?
Yes, I'm being bullied by the government. They're bullying me, telling me I have to have a guardian.
Yeah. Can I ask about this euthanasia thing? If they said to you that you could go today and it would be done, would you do it? Would you go?
Are you asking me that question because you're reading off a script?
No, I'm not reading off a script. I'm sorry if it sounds that way.
Well, of course, I will go. That's what I will.
Yeah.
I'm not applying to the government to receive a euthanasia pill because I want to sell it on the black market. I'm applying to the government for a euthanasia pill because of two things. One, the wheelchair provided by the wheelchair industry is not fast enough. It only goes at 7 kilometers an hour. I can get mine up to 24 kilometers an hour, but it's still too slow. I need mine to go much faster. When I get to 24 kilometers an hour, I get a lot of caster flutter. The wheels wobble, like on supermarket trolleys. So I've been trying to resolve that for 20 years. That's the primary reason I went to my GP and explained to the GP I couldn't look after my children because the wobbling wheels on my wheelchair are causing me to have severe spinal pain. So I couldn't travel all the distance from London to Wales to look after my children with my brother who was looking after them because I was disabled and I can't. But instead of providing me with a proper wheelchair or explaining to me I can't have a proper wheelchair because a proper wheelchair doesn't even exist, he went and sent the police and social workers round to my brother's house and had my children abducted. And before he did that, he should have made sure that I had gone to a bespoke wheelchair builder to build a wheelchair which can go more than 24 kilometers an hour or 7 kilometers an hour or whatever the law says. And he should have made sure that I had a guardian so that when his police friends and his social worker friends abduct my children, I can defend myself and get the children back. But the GP did not do either of those two things. And additionally, they made sure that my GP notes were not sent to the next GP. They went, I don't know what they did with my notes, but they didn't.
That must be really frustrating.
Because they wanted to hide the fact that they had raped my children by doing what they did. May I please redact that word I just said?
Which one? Which word?
The one that begins with the letter R. I would like to change it to sexually abused. The GP sexually abused my children by failing to make sure that I had the correct mobility support and the correct cerebral support before they sent the police and social workers round to my brother's house to take the children away.
Do you feel that your relationship with your children changed because of the sexual abuse?
No, my relationship with my children changed because my GP breached my data privacy and had the police and social workers take the children away. That's what caused it. Yeah. So, okay, we can say the sexual abuse started 6 years in 2011 before the actual act by the individual who was prosecuted later. The intimate sex act occurred in 2016, and I think it took the local government in the foreign country a further 2 years to send that individual to prison.
Listen, we've been talking for a while now. How are you feeling? Are you feeling any different at all?
Do you feel that I have explained things in a clear way?
Yes,
okay.
You have.
That's what it is then. So as I've managed to explain things in a clear way, I want to say thank you very much for listening to me.
You are welcome. We are here 24/7 if you feel you need to speak to someone.
Yes, and I'm hoping that somehow I can deal with this horrendous guardianship burden. I am under a horrendous burden of trying to get a guardian when my vulnerability means that I'm even less likely to influence my guardian in a helpful way than a person who's not disabled. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. How would you feel now about me bringing this call to a close?
Yes, I'm saying thank you for that.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. That's right.
Thank you. Goodbye.
You're welcome.